Hey, badass business owners. Today I want to talk about what is stopping you from learning your business numbers. Don't you go anywhere because you know this is one of the most important things you can do as a small business owner. Now, my question is, I want you to really reach down deep and ask yourself, what is stopping you from learning your business numbers? Now, this doesn't mean you don't know them at all. It just means that, you can know them at a deeper level. And for some of you, it means knowing them at all. Because if I asked you what you've done in sales so far for the month, my experience has been the majority of people cannot tell you. They can give you a ballpark answer, but if you try to comparing that against the profit and loss with what they actually did, it's way off. Same thing as if you ask people what their profitability is and what it has been over the last few months. We can take pretty good educated guesses, but that doesn't make it true. And then we get all surprised when we get to the end of the month and we discover we didn't do nearly as much as we thought we did. And we sure the heck didn't make nearly as much money as we hoped we had. Now, some of the reasons I see when I'm talking to people, one is I don't have time. I'm so busy. I'm always running around and I mean well and I want to do it. I just don't have any time. That might sound familiar. Some people, I give them credit. They will admit that they're afraid of what they're going to find. There's a fear that stops them because they know they're bad and they know they're not doing what they think they should be doing. And they just think that if they learn their business numbers, then they have to face the reality of what it is. Now, there are some people that are intimidated by numbers. They just hate math. Everything to do with numbers makes them just like, oh my God, I'm so bored. Pull my hair out, pull my eyes out, poke my eyes out, whatever the case may be. Numbers just have this physical reaction to them and they just want nothing to do with them. And they find them so boring. Why even start? And then there's this whole other group of people that feel they can outsell anything. If they're short on profits, all they got to do is sell more. So what they do is they just keep selling and selling, hoping it's going to fix the profitability problem that they have. For those of you that are like that you think you can outsell, you not knowing your business numbers, how are those 70 to 80 hour work weeks going? Because that's all you can do is take on more jobs, work more hours, and pretty soon that's all you are doing is working tons of hours and you still don't know your business numbers and you're still not making the type of money that you should. Listen, you might be making some money and this is what confuses people. They're like, oh, I take money at the end of the day. Okay, you might be making 10% profitability. Okay, after you pay your self-employed wages, you might have a little bit of money as a business owner. And that's not a bad thing. That is the goal, is to be profitable. But what if I told you that if you looked at your business numbers, what if that 10% could actually be 20% or 25%? See, a lot of times people assume they don't need to know their business numbers because they're making money. And that is so not the case. I was talking with a business owner the other day and we were looking at the trend of their business. And when you go back 3 years ago, before we kind of started talking, they were making money. It wasn't a lot, but they were making money. The business was doing okay. Then they decided that they were going to start really focusing on their business. So the first year they really focused on their pricing and their ideal customer, what they were going to do. Oh my gosh, their profits went through the roof because they were looking at stuff and looking at the numbers and understanding better what was the right way to price their products and services. And by doing so, it allowed them to not only sell more, but their profitability went way higher than even the sales. So yes, the sales went up, but the profitability was like 2 to 3 times what it was, where the sales went up maybe 30-40%. That's a huge gain. Then you look at the past year and they started to know their business numbers a little bit better. Guess what? That number got even better. And that's because they started to learn those numbers. Now, if you were to ask me, is this person an expert on their numbers? Oh, heck no. It still is like pulling teeth sometimes to get them to look at their numbers. But you know what? They're getting better. They're understanding it a little bit more. They're asking better questions. So my main point of this is you're not going to become an expert on your numbers overnight. It takes practice, just like anything else that you learned. What is it? It takes 10,000 hours to be able to master something. You're not going to become a master. I just want you to be able to know the numbers so you can use the numbers to help you out. By him understanding the numbers back in the day, he realized he had a pricing problem. He was able to use the numbers and understand how he was accounting for his labor hours better. He ran a better business. Then there's this other business owner I was talking to last week, and they don't want to look at their business numbers. Matter of fact, every time that I say, hey, let's take a look at it, I can see the physical reaction. And it's funny because at first I thought they were reacting this way because they didn't know them. But I think in the end, it just comes out. It's like, hey, I've got all these other great ideas I want to run with. And that's the part that has to be broken. Is it's great that you have all these ideas, but if you're running after new sales ideas and new great ways of doing stuff without looking at the number side of it, you could be throwing away money. How many people have wasted money buying some gadget, some toy, some equipment, something, thinking they were going to make a ton of money off of it? And it turns out that they didn't make all the money because they didn't look at the numbers. And more importantly, they still haven't broken even on that piece of equipment that they purchased because all their profits from those additional sales are still paying off that item because they didn't look and run the numbers to see what that return on that investment is. Now, I have no doubt that this other person is going to learn those numbers. It's going to take a while because there is a fight there. And as long as there's fighting on learning your numbers, guess what? It's going to take you a little bit longer. And then I have folks on the other side that are complete nerds about their numbers. They spend so much time analyzing and looking at their numbers. It also helps them grow their business. For them, it's about focusing on the right numbers and how to interpret the numbers. It's like we can read words, but until you put those words in a certain order, can you read the book? Your numbers are the same thing. Numbers are just numbers until you look at them from a certain way to see what kind of information that they're telling you. And almost every set of numbers can tell you different things. That's why I find them personally fascinating, because depending upon the angle that you look at them or the reasoning that you're looking at them, you can get a different story. So it's kind of like one of those books that you can read and you can have a different story every single time you read it because you're going into it expecting something different and you're trying to find out something different. But most people, I promise you, when they start learning their numbers, they're full of questions. Some of those questions are easy and some of those questions are really complicated. And some of those questions they don't need to be worried about. Sometimes those questions are, wow, that's pretty good. They get me thinking about it. I have my Know Your Numbers course and people reach out to me all the time and they ask me questions and I love it because one, it keeps me on my toes, but two, it tells me they really are trying to learn their numbers. And that's exactly what we want for you. Okay. We want you to be able to look at those numbers and understand what it is that they're telling you. Folks, you work way too many hours to not be profitable. And that is ultimately the goal of any business. Yes, you are serving a customer. You're making sure that customer gets exactly what they want. You're adding value. You're solving problems. But at the end of the day, you are just an employee unless your business is making money. The goal of the game is to have a profitable business. I don't want you to get to the end of the month and be sick to your stomach because, wow, you did all the sales, you worked all these hours, and you found out that really there's no profit at the end. I want you to get to the end of the month and be excited because you did more than what you thought you did, because you used the numbers to improve and to get better and to tweak. That's really what I want. So I really want you to step back and I really want you to ask yourself, what is really stopping you? And for most of you, it really comes down to this. You just don't understand. You're not good with numbers. And you don't have time to learn. And that's really what the excuse, and I'm going to call it an excuse, because you can have all the reasons in the world, but if you really want it bad enough, you're going to make it happen. Is that not the exact same thing you say to your kids? Is that not the truth of life? We can always want things, but it's only until we decide to take action and do something differently that we make a difference. And when you wake up and you say, hey, look, I know this is going to be painful. I know that I'm looking at a page full of gobbledygook junk and I have no idea what it's telling me, but I am going to slowly learn what these numbers are going to tell me, because I'm going to learn how to pre-act in my business versus react in my business. Yes, because that's one of the big advantages to knowing your numbers. Yes, you get busy every single March and April. But did you know that your numbers are telling you exactly when you probably should start beefing up your inventory or hiring people so you can get ahead of the curve versus at the end? For those of you that sell products, did you know that your numbers will give you a better idea of when to get out of something? Do you know how many businesses hurt themselves because they try to chase the last sale instead of, hey, if I'm looking at my numbers and I see a drop off, maybe I need to stop worrying about carrying enough of these right beforehand. one of the reasons why when you go to buy Christmas lights the week of Christmas, you can't find any, because those things tank on Christmas Day. And any inventory that they're sitting on is going to be sitting there or going on a fire sale right afterwards. So they know they need to be running out about a week before Christmas in order to get clean out of that inventory and not have money tied up in it. And that's what the case with like all kinds of seasonal sales. And a seasonal sales with products, your services are no different. You're going to have a season in and out, and you need to have a plan for going in and out. And you need to understand that, hey, wow, these months are really crazy. More importantly, you know what? You need to also say, hey, what am I supposed to do next month? What are my sales supposed to be? Well, if next month is March, well, all you got to do is go to last year's March and the year March before and say, hey, what happened? Did my business jump? How much did I do? Did I do $20,000? Did I do $30,000? Did I do $45,000? Wow, I've got a problem. I'm only doing $25,000 right now. You see what I'm saying? Numbers can tell stories. And I know this is going on longer than I intended it to, but I really want to like grab you guys and shake you. For those of you that are doing a wonderful job trying to learn your numbers and you're on that journey, I applaud you because I know it's not easy. But for those of you that have been holding out and really, shuffling your feet along the journey of knowing your business numbers, it's time to wake up. Sales minus cost of goods minus expenses equals for profits. Your goal is to make sure you're getting paid in your business as an employee under those costs. For some of you, it'll be under expenses, but more importantly, that profit line is nice and healthy and you are making money. That is the goal of the business, and I want to help. That's one of the reasons you listen to this show, because you know I'm going to preach at you. And for those of you that follow me on the YouTube channel to learn as well, I thank you for crossing over, for doing that. And for those of you that have bought the course, I appreciate you as well. My goal is not to get you to buy the course. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I care, and I don't care if you learn it through the free methods, you learn it through the fast methods, you do it on your own. I just want you to learn your business numbers. That is the ultimate goal, and I will continue pushing that. All right, with that, I got to get out of here because I'm just preaching, and it's not good when Tammy starts preaching because I'll just keep going. With that, I will talk to you on the next episode. Bye for now. Hey, badass business owner, before you go, as you know, I'm a huge believer in you knowing your business numbers. After all, it isn't about how much you sell, it's about what you keep. And the best way to grow your profits is to start diving in and understanding those business numbers. To help you on this journey, I have created the Know Your Business Numbers course. We will walk through how to read your profit and loss statement. You'll learn the key calculations that'll help ensure that you're making a healthy profit on all of your products or services, plus a ton of other good stuff that'll help you learn how to use those business numbers to create even more sales and profits. Just check out the link below in the show notes or visit knowyourbusinessnumberscourse.com. So if you're ready to increase those profits, it's time you start diving into your business numbers.